So, what do you think of the Gennaro Social Club?
Why do I feel as if I shouldn't be here?
Well, possibly because no woman's come through that door in about 40 years.
Oh, Jack.
Relax. It's all right. I told Angie that it wouldn't be right to keep a lady waiting on the curb. And since you were already sitting here and the place hadn't been struck by lightning, he agreed.
Who's Angie?
Club manager.
Manager?
Yeah, he keeps the place open, the espresso made. His real job is to handle messages.
Messages?
Yeah, messages.
Who's that?
That's Paulie D'Annunzio. Very big in the trucking business. And a man of substance in the neighborhood. The guy sitting next to him is Claude Macellari, greengrocer on Elizabeth Street. And the other guy I don't know.
These are all neighborhood people.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a member?
No. Tony Pelletieri is.
Tony is the baker who took you in when you left the orphanage.
That's right.
So we're waiting for Tony.
No. He's in bed by now.
At 10:30?
He's got to get up at 4.
Oh. I think I should call the hospital in a few minutes.
There's a phone right behind the counter. Listen, I wish you'd trust Dr. Coleridge. Nothing's going to happen before morning.
I don't expect any bad news anymore. If Frank were going to die, he'd have died this evening.
I believe you.
Does whoever we're meeting know he's meeting us?
Mm-mm.
Then how do you know he'll be here?
Well, because he's a creature of habit. If he doesn't stop in to the club sometime before 8 midnight, it means he's either sick, or there's a meeting of the local, or Teresa's on the warpath.
His wife?
His girlfriend. For something like 20 years.
Well, he's dependable anyway.
That's just it. When you asked me earlier if there's anybody I loved, let me tell you, Ryan, nobody's ever asked me that question before.
Really?
Not the way you meant it. The 2 or 3 people I thought of were the ones I can depend on. Those that have stuck with me through the years, no matter what I've done to them.
Well, that's what makes a family, isn't it? That and shared experience.
I guess so. In which case, Mary Ryan, you're about to meet the head of my family.
Who?
Francesco Marino, otherwise known as Chicky, otherwise known as the Beef, otherwise known as Jumbo Marino, the Sing Sing fullback.
Come in.
Dr. Coleridge, I'm leaving now. Good night.
Good night, Dr. Bullock. Thank you again for your help today.
Not at all. Aren't you going home?
Well, in a while, there's really no point in my staying here, but,
You're still concerned about Frank Ryan?
no matter how I rack my brain, I can't seem to think of anything else to do. I guess it's just a matter of whether or not he has the stamina to hold on.
Until the antibiotic works.
keep going back over the whole case, and I keep trying to think if there's anything I could have missed.
I don't believe so.
And still, there just might be something.
Dr. Coleridge, how long has it been since you've left the hospital?
Oh, well, I guess about 36 hours. Oh, I haven't been entirely without sleep, but I keep wishing that couch were about 4 inches longer.
Don't you think it's time you got away for a little while?
Yeah, I suppose it is. When I'm feeling like this, I generally head straight for Ryan's, belt about 3 stiff drinks, and talk it all out with Johnny.
You're worried the antibiotic won't work.
Yes. And I'm also worried that it will work. Johnny and Maeve are so hopeful that Frank will live, and of course I am too, but what kind of life will he have? What quality of life? With a spinal injury like that, well, he's apt to be paralyzed from the waist down, from the neck down.
Well, there's also a chance that he might recover.
A very outside chance.
Haven't you told the Ryans about that?
Yes.
Well, then they know, don't they?
No, I'm not sure they face up to it yet.
You don't think that Maeve and Johnny Ryan alone together haven't explored every possibility?
Yes, I suppose they have.
I suspect that they've gone over all the possibilities, and they've managed to deal with them. Maybe we could all learn a lesson from the Ryans.
Oh, you mean if they can hang in there, why can't I?
Something like that. I've never liked writing a patient off, even when it seems inevitable. Once in a while, one of them fools you and gets well.
All right, I'd certainly be very pleased if Frank Ryan would fool me.
Dr. Coleridge, it occurs to me that you are suffering from too much involvement with the case, too little sleep, and probably a general lack of nourishment. Would you like to get a hamburger with me at the corner? At least that would get you out of here.
Well, if I go anywhere, I really should go home.
Well, in that case,
Well, no, maybe we could have a bite to eat at my place. I'm not a bad cook.
Is that an invitation?
It is.
I accept.
Well, fine. I'll have a look in on Frank and tell him where I'll be. And, well, then we can be on our way.
Doctor, I think this will be very good for both of us. I'm delighted not to eat alone and then go back to that empty hotel room.
Oh, there is one more thing.
Yes?
Yes, well, when we get to my house, do you think you could call me by my first name? Huh?
Well, I don't think we have to wait until we get to your house. Ed. And I'm Nell.
Nice to meet you, Nell. You know, all of a sudden, I'm looking forward to the evening.
As a matter of fact, so am I.
You made that up. It's part of a story you wrote.
I don't write fiction for the same reason I don't lie. I'm no good at it.
Where'd you get all those names?
Jumbo's life can be roughly divided into 2 parts. Before Sing Sing and after Sing Sing. Now, before Sing Sing, he was known as Chickie on Mott Street and the Beef on the docks. And in Sing Sing, where he spent 8 years for involuntary manslaughter, they called him Jumbo.
And he played football.
Mm-hmm. He was fullback on the only prison team to go 4.5 years undefeated. It's a fact. How do you feel about pinball?
I like it.
Game?
Will they mind?
Are you kidding? You're the big event of the summer.
Okay. May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Who did Jumbo involuntarily slaughter?
Legend has it that two guys cornered him in an argument in the hold of a banana boat, and he flattened one of them, and the other one pulled a knife, and he took a flying leap and crushed him to death.
Is that true?
I don't know. I wasn't there. By the time I met him, he was a union organizer. His kid brother was the chaplain at the orphanage, and my basketball coach. Basketball being the only thing that interests me at that time.
Right.
And so Father Marino was smart enough to know that I had to get out of the Good Shepherd before I took the place apart, or vice versa, so he asked Jumbo to get me a job, and Jumbo did. And he also found me a home at the Pelletieris.
Why?
Because his brother asked him to, and because he's basically a responsive human being. I suppose you're going to tell me Frank taught you this never-fail hotshot pinball technique, huh?
What can I tell you? Machines like me. Oh, you are so competitive.
Oh, look who's talking.
That wasn't criticism. It's no fun if you don't care.
I care.
I'm beginning to believe you do.
Hard to watch.
Giovanni Battista.
Hey, Jumbo.
How you been? How you been? I've been thinking a lot about you lately. What you been doing?
Not much, Jumbo, not much.
I've been reading the column with the mayor and the city and the budget. Later we'll talk. We get a minute later, you'll tell me about this money problem. The reason I called, Teresa wanted you to come up for dinner. Well, we got no answer. Who's this?
Someone I want you to meet. Mary, this is Jumbo Marino. Jumbo, Mary Ryan.
How do you do, Mr. Marino?
Very nice to meet you. Obviously, Mr. Finelli, it's a girl of culture and refinement. Why's she doing with a bum like you?
This is a super kitchen. Mind if I look?
Look away. Help yourself.
There are two things I can't resist. Other people's books and the kitchen equipment.
Well, the library's downstairs. We'll have a cognac later, and you can check out the books, too.
Oh! Oh!
What's that?
Oh, your knives.
Oh.
Huh.
Well, here's the chopping block, and there's a fresh pot of basil, so go to it.
Bliss, how much do you need?
Oh, about a cup.
Have you always lived in this house?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my entire life. My grandparents built it when my mother was still alive. And she was just a kid.
That's nice.
And when I had a private practice, I had an office downstairs. Roger has the top floor now, and Faith has two on the third floor. And Jill has a whole bunch of stuff in the cellar, so I sort of feel that this house keeps the whole family together.
That's interesting.
What is?
Well, that you should assign that responsibility to the house.
I don't understand.
Well, I should think that what's keeping your family together is you, not a piece of real estate.
You do go right to the heart of matters, don't you?
I'm trying to learn to do that, yes.
Well, I've been a father for about 30 years now, and I'm just beginning to realize that maybe I'm not quite up to the job after all.
Sometimes it takes years and years to really resolve a relationship. Sometimes it never happens, no matter how hard both of you may try.
What? Is that a personal statement?
I spent about a third of my life trying to learn how to live with Seneca and still be a whole human being myself. And then I ran out of time, and I had to make a choice. And I never did find out. Which is kind of frustrating. Given another 20 or 30 years, I might have made it.
I can't quite shake it out of my mind that you're still very much involved with the eminent Dr. Bullock.
Once you've encountered Seneca, I don't think you're ever totally free of him again. He had a young lab assistant who worked for him for about 6 weeks once. And she became so engrossed with him and what he was doing, she changed her specialty and got into nerve regeneration. 7 years later, she wrote her first book and dedicated it to him. He didn't even remember who she was. That's the kind of thing that happens all the time. He compels people.
Nell, it must have taken a lot of courage to leave.
Well, it did. I felt terribly disoriented and lonely and like an absolute alien at Riverside Hospital.
Beginning from this moment, we're going to do everything we can to remedy that.
Do you really think it's a bum?
There is certain evidence that has come my way over the years, Mary.
But what if someone walked through the door right now and said, Jack Finelli, you're a bum? What would you do?
Well, if he was a little guy, I hit him myself. If he's a big guy, I got the connections. So if you aren't a bum, why don't you let that lady have some espresso? Hey, Ange, give me 3 espressos and some anisette. You cannot know the pleasure of espresso with a name like Brian. I will introduce you, Mary.
Thank you.
Smile at me again, and I will deliver personally anything off the New York City docks. Yeah, get the grape. I might as well give me the pastry, too. You know cannoli?
You bet I do.
There is hope for you. We should have a party. This is clearly a serious situation, Jack.
What is?
Hey, I've known you since you're 16. In 20 years, you never introduced me to a girl before. So I figure it's serious.
Well, Mary is, from a big family up on the West Side. I've been acquainted with them for some time, but got to know them a lot better in the last few weeks. And since I knew her family, she wanted to meet mine.
It pleases me very much. Very much. Thanks, Ange. You're a pal. There are some things of a personal nature I should know, Mary.
Okay.
How old are you?
22.
Giovanni.
She's precocious.
What does that mean?
She's, advanced for her age.
College graduate, right?
Mount St. Michael's.
You've been to the sisters all those years?
Yeah.
That's good. That's very good. You got brothers and sisters?
2 of each.
Are your people still together?
29 years they've been married.
That's terrific. What's your old man do?
We run a bar and grill across the street from Riverside Hospital.
The whole neighborhood hangs out there, Jumbo. It's like here, only girls are allowed on a regular basis.
I got nothing against that. You like her, Mary?
Yeah.
So do I, in fact. I love him.
That's what he said about you.
Yeah, we never say it to each other, but we understand it. He's like my son. I'm very proud of him. He's done a lot of good things for himself, Jack.
This is, making me nervous. Would you like me to call the hospital for you?
Or would you?
Sure.
What's the matter, Mary?
My brother had an accident, but we're hoping he'll be all right.
I hope so, too.
Be right back.
Jackie's a very funny fella. He's smart, and he's honest. And underneath all that wise guy stuff, he's a real sweetheart.
Yes.
Only half the time he's scared to death.
Of what?
That somebody's gonna get to him.
Well, how do you mean?
He don't want to need anybody, Mary. So always gotta be on his terms. So if that's gonna bother you, watch out.
In Port Charles, revenge is a priority, relationships are disposable, and good medical care is a necessity. Keep up with this fast-paced city with an all-new episode of General Hospital, weeknights at 10 on SoapNet.